Did you know that it takes more than 10 liters of fresh milk just to make a single liter of condensed milk? That's right. This thick, velvety, and incredibly sweet ingredient that shows up in everything from pies to coffee drinks doesn't just appear on store shelves. It's the result of an elaborate process that blends modern technology with age-old preservation methods. Condensed milk has a fascinating story, one that stretches back nearly 2 centuries, and its journey from fresh farm milk to a shiny can in your pantry is more incredible than most people realize. Today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most beloved staples in kitchens across America and the world, while also diving into the rise of oat milk, a modern plant-based competitor that has become a cultural phenomenon. If you've ever stirred condensed milk into your iced coffee, drizzled it over strawberries, or enjoyed it in a caramel-like filling, prepare to see it in a whole new light. The origins of condensed milk date back to the 19th century, long before refrigerators were common. At that time, milk spoiled quickly, making it dangerous to transport and difficult to store. In the 1850s, American inventor Gail Borden developed a way to preserve milk by heating it and evaporating most of its water content. By removing more than 60% of the liquid, the milk became thick and stable, while still retaining its nutrients. To make it even more resilient, sugar was added, not only boosting its sweetness but also extending its shelf life. During the Civil War, canned condensed milk became a lifesaver for soldiers, who could finally carry a safe, nutritious source of dairy. From that point forward, condensed milk carved out a place in culinary traditions worldwide, particularly in Asia and Latin America, where it became the key ingredient in desserts, coffees, and confections. Today, while the process has been modernized with stainless steel machines, automated packaging, and strict food safety standards, the core principle remains remarkably similar to Borden's original idea. Take fresh milk, remove its water, and sweeten it into something deliciously versatile. The journey of condensed milk begins on dairy farms, where cows are raised under strict health and hygiene protocols. In the United States, dairy farmers take great care to ensure cows are well fed, properly sheltered, and regularly monitored by veterinarians. Happy, healthy cows are essential for producing high-quality milk, and modern farms use a mix of tradition and technology to achieve this balance. Milking no longer happens by hand but with automated systems that gently extract the milk while ensuring absolute cleanliness. As soon as the milk leaves the cow, it's rapidly cooled to prevent bacterial growth. Specialized insulated tank trucks then rush the milk to processing facilities, where time is of the essence. Freshness is critical to making great condensed milk. Inside the factory, the milk undergoes rigorous quality checks. Each batch is tested for purity, fat content, and protein levels to ensure it meets strict standards. The next step is pasteurization, where the milk is briefly heated to high temperatures to destroy harmful bacteria without altering its natural flavor. Then comes the key moment: sugar is added and thoroughly mixed. This isn't just about sweetness. The sugar acts as a preservative, helping condensed milk last for months or even years without refrigeration. As the sugar dissolves seamlessly into the milk, it transforms into the smooth, creamy base we're all familiar with. Next, the sweetened milk is transferred into massive vacuum evaporators or condensing tanks. These machines slowly heat the liquid while reducing pressure, allowing water to evaporate at lower temperatures. This gentle process removes over 60% of the water content without burning the milk, resulting in a thick, luscious texture. Imagine the aroma inside those tanks, a sweet, creamy cloud of milk and sugar filling the air. Once the perfect consistency is reached, the condensed milk is piped into automated packaging lines. Cans, jars, or pouches are sterilized at high heat, filled, sealed, and labeled with precision. Each container is designed to withstand months of storage while keeping the product fresh and safe. From here, the condensed milk is shipped to grocery stores, bakeries, and food companies around the world, ready to be turned into everything from tres leches cakes to caramel sauces to Vietnamese iced coffee. But as popular as condensed milk is, its production requires substantial resources. Large quantities of fresh milk mean significant water, land, and feed for dairy cows, as well as the energy needed for processing and transport. That's why many manufacturers are working to reduce their environmental footprint, investing in water recycling systems, renewable energy, and more efficient machinery. Consumers are also playing a role by recycling packaging and choosing brands that prioritize sustainability. In a world that's becoming increasingly conscious about food production, condensed milk remains beloved, but it now shares the spotlight with plant-based alternatives, especially oat milk. The rise of oat milk is one of the most fascinating food stories of the past decade. Unlike condensed milk, which has been around since the 1800s, Oat milk is a modern invention born from the search for a more sustainable and allergy-friendly alternative to cow's milk. In 1994, Swedish food scientist Rikard Ost developed oat milk using a groundbreaking method. Instead of just blending oats and water, which would result in a gritty drink, he used enzymes to break down the starch in oats, releasing natural sugars and creating a smooth, creamy liquid. For years, oat milk remained relatively unknown, overshadowed by soy milk and almond milk. But everything changed in the mid-2010s when Oatly, the company founded on Ost's invention, entered the U.S. market. Oatly's breakthrough moment came when coffee shops began using oat milk as a dairy substitute. Baristas loved it because it steamed and frothed beautifully, making it perfect for lattes and cappuccinos. Customers quickly noticed the creamy texture and subtle sweetness, and oat milk began spreading like wildfire. By 2019, Starbucks had adopted oat milk, catapulting it into the mainstream. Today, oat milk has surpassed soy milk in popularity in many markets and is competing neck and neck with almond milk for dominance in the plant-based dairy world. In fact, global revenue for oat milk is projected to hit $4.2 billion by 2027, making it one of the fastest-growing plant-based products on the planet. The production of oat milk is surprisingly high-tech. It begins in vast oat fields across North America and Europe, where the grain grows best in cool, temperate climates. Oats take about 4 to 5 months to mature, and once harvested, only the best grains are selected for milk production. At the processing plant, oats are cleaned with vibrating sieves to remove stones, dirt, and other impurities. Next, machines called dehullers strip away the outer husk without damaging the nutrient-rich grain inside. Once cleaned, the oats are milled into flour and mixed with water in large blending tanks. Enzymes are then added to break down starch into natural sugars, which give oat milk its characteristic sweetness without the need for added sugar. The mixture is filtered to remove fiber, pasteurized for safety, and homogenized to create a smooth, uniform texture. Finally, it's packaged in cartons, often with added vitamins and minerals like calcium and vitamin D to mimic the nutrition of cow's milk. One of the biggest selling points of oat milk is sustainability. Compared to dairy, oat milk uses far less water and produces significantly fewer greenhouse gas emissions. Unlike almond milk, which requires massive amounts of irrigation water, oats are naturally rain-fed in most regions. For environmentally conscious consumers, oat milk offers the best of both worlds. It's creamy, versatile, and eco-friendly. It's now found not just in lattes but in ice creams, yogurts, and even creamers, making it a true rival to traditional dairy. What's remarkable is how these two products, condensed milk and oat milk, tell the story of food innovation across 2 centuries. Condensed milk was once a revolutionary solution to food preservation, a way to make milk safe and transportable before modern refrigeration. It became woven into the fabric of global cuisines and remains a comfort ingredient to this day. Oat milk, on the other hand, represents the modern shift toward sustainability and plant-based living, offering a dairy alternative for the 21st century. Together, they reflect how our relationship with milk continues to evolve, balancing taste, convenience, and environmental responsibility. Have you ever poured a splash of oat milk into your morning coffee or torn open a packet of milk powder for a recipe and wondered how these everyday staples are actually made? Behind that smooth, creamy oat milk sitting on store shelves and the fine shelf-stable milk powder tucked into your pantry lies a fascinating story of science, craftsmanship, and innovation. These products may seem ordinary, but the journey they take before reaching your kitchen is nothing short of extraordinary. From careful enzyme deactivation to high-pressure processing, from ancient food preservation methods to modern spray drying, every sip and spoonful represents decades of research, centuries of history, and a remarkable blend of tradition and technology. Today we're diving into the captivating world of oat milk and milk powder production, exploring how simple ingredients are transformed into products that fuel millions of lives every day. Oat milk may seem like a modern trend, but creating a stable, nutritious, and delicious plant-based beverage is far more complicated than simply blending oats and water. The challenge begins with the natural lipase enzyme in oats. If left untreated, this enzyme breaks down fats, causing the milk to turn rancid far too quickly. To solve this, producers steam the oats at carefully controlled temperatures of around 90 to 100 degrees Celsius for 5 to 10 minutes. This heat treatment effectively deactivates the enzyme while preserving the essential nutrients, ensuring that the oat milk maintains freshness and quality. Once this critical step is complete, the oats are soaked in warm water at about 45 to 50 degrees Celsius for 2 to 4 hours. This soaking process softens the starch and prepares the oats for grinding, where they are blended into a slurry before being transferred to a specialized enzyme reaction tank. It's here that the magic of natural sweetness begins. Enzymes such as amylases are added to break down complex starches into simpler sugars like maltose. This process occurs at a moderate temperature range of 50 to 60 degrees Celsius and usually takes between 30 to 60 minutes. The result is a subtly sweet flavor that oat milk is known for, achieved naturally without artificial sugar. At this stage though, the mixture still contains insoluble oat fibers that can make the milk gritty and less appealing to drink. To address this, producers use microfiltration systems with membranes measuring only 0.2 to 0.5 micrometers. These advanced filters remove unwanted insoluble fibers while retaining beneficial beta-glucans, proteins, and minerals, ensuring that the milk is smooth yet still nutritionally rich. Texture and stability are essential to any milk product. No one wants their oat milk to separate into layers after just a few days in the fridge. To prevent this, the mixture undergoes high-pressure homogenization, where it is forced through tight spaces at pressures ranging from 200 to 250 bar. This step evenly distributes fat and protein molecules throughout the liquid, creating a stable, creamy consistency that mimics the mouthfeel of dairy milk. Once homogenized, the product must also be made safe for long-term consumption. This is accomplished through ultra-high temperature UHT sterilization, which briefly heats the oat milk to temperatures between 135 and 150 degrees Celsius for just 2 to 5 seconds. This rapid heat treatment kills harmful bacteria without damaging the flavor or nutritional quality. At this point, essential nutrients such as calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin B12 are added, making oat milk nutritionally comparable to cow's milk. Finally, the finished product is sealed in Tetra Pak cartons with 6 protective layers designed to block out light, air, and bacteria. Thanks to this advanced packaging, oat milk can last 6 to 12 months without preservatives or refrigeration. While oat milk has taken the spotlight in recent years, milk powder has a much longer history as one of the most revolutionary dairy innovations in human history. Imagine opening your pantry and reaching for a tin of milk powder. Lightweight, portable, and capable of transforming your coffee, enriching baked goods, or serving as a nutritional lifeline during emergencies. The story of milk powder dates back to the early 19th century, when Russian chemist Osip Krichevsky first developed a method for creating dried milk in 1802. However, it was in the 1850s that American inventor Gail Borden turned this idea into a practical commercial process. Borden's innovation was driven by necessity during an era when preserved food was critical for long sea voyages and military rations. His work laid the foundation for an industry that would grow into a global staple. By the 20th century, milk powder had become essential across industries ranging from confectionery to infant nutrition, and with the introduction of spray drying technology in the 1920s, production became faster, more efficient, and scalable to meet worldwide demand. The journey of milk powder starts at the dairy farm, where fresh milk is collected under strict quality standards. Every batch undergoes rigorous testing for fat content, protein levels, and bacterial count to ensure safety and consistency. Once cleared, the milk is pasteurized by heating it to specific temperatures that kill harmful bacteria while retaining essential nutrients and flavor. This crucial step ensures the milk is safe for consumption and extends its shelf life. Following pasteurization, the milk is fed into large vacuum evaporators, which gently remove about 60% of its water content. These evaporators operate at low temperatures to prevent the loss of valuable nutrients. The result is a concentrated form of milk that is thicker, creamier, and significantly richer in protein and fat. To put things into perspective, it takes about 10 liters of fresh milk to produce just 1 kilogram of milk powder. This explains why milk powder is so nutrient-dense and versatile. The next step is one of the most fascinating examples of food technology: spray drying. In this process, the concentrated milk is atomized into fine droplets and sprayed into a chamber filled with hot air. The droplets dry almost instantly, turning into fine, soluble milk powder particles. Spray dryers are capable of processing thousands of liters of milk every hour, making this method not only efficient but also ideal for large-scale production. What's remarkable is that despite the intense drying process, the nutritional integrity of the milk is preserved. The resulting powder dissolves easily in water, retaining the essence of fresh milk even after months of storage. Once dried, the milk powder is carefully packaged in airtight containers or vacuum-sealed bags to lock in freshness and prevent contamination. Each batch is tested for moisture content, solubility, and microbial safety before being distributed to markets around the world. Yet, as with all dairy production, milk powder comes with environmental challenges. Producing it requires significant amounts of water and energy, and dairy farming itself contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. Recognizing these issues, many producers are adopting sustainable practices, including water recycling systems, renewable energy sources, and more efficient farming techniques designed to reduce the industry's environmental footprint. This balance between providing essential nutrition and protecting the planet is one of the most pressing issues in the food industry today. From the steaming of oats to deactivate enzymes to the spray drying of milk into powder, these processes represent an extraordinary intersection of science, technology, and human ingenuity. Oat milk offers a modern, plant-based alternative for health-conscious and environmentally aware consumers, while milk powder continues to serve as a practical, long-lasting source of nutrition in countless homes and industries. The next time you stir a spoonful of milk powder into your baking mix or pour oat milk into your latte, you'll know there's more than just a beverage or ingredient in your hands. It's the result of centuries of innovation, rigorous science, and the constant human desire to make food not only safer and more convenient but also more nourishing and sustainable for the future.